Hi everyone. I hope all of you are doing well at your home. You are paying attention in the study also. We are studying the chapter in biology, that is the control and coordination, and we studied many things in this chapter. You can summarize them. Time to time I am giving the instruction to note down the things, but still I am not satisfied with the performance of the students who are studying in class 10th. The reason behind it is that about 250 students are there. Along with those students, there are some other also of other schools, and some other members are also there. But still, many people are not paying attention in seeing the video, in understanding the topics. Nothing to worry, because I am doing my duty for your welfare. You decide what you have to do. If you will not pay attention studying today, you have to pay for it in your future. Okay, leave that. I am again making a request to you that if you are able to understand the topic, if you are able to get something new or interesting, knowledgeable, then please like, subscribe, share as much as you can. Let's begin the topic without wasting the time. Our chapter is control and coordination, and in this chapter we were studying about different parts of brain. In previous lecture I given you different parts of the brain and an introduction to the brain. Today I will start with the forebrain. It is forebrain. As you know, forebrain is the part of CNS. CNS means central nervous system. There are two parts in central nervous system: brain and spinal cord. Okay, brain has three parts, and one of that part is the forebrain. Today, this forebrain is also called prosencephalon. Prosencephalon. Okay, and it has, as it has been written in the previous lecture also, it has the three parts. First is called the olfactory lobe. Second part of forebrain is cerebrum, and third part of the brain is diencephalon. Diencephalon. Okay. Then let's know about each one of them in somewhat detail. That will be the brief, not complete detail. Okay. Dear students, meanwhile I want to talk with you that you should, if you are interested, then you should to practice the diagram very well by identifying the parts. Okay, it will give you the mark, because suppose if you forgotten the theory but diagram is in your mind, you will get much marks on the diagrams. Okay, this is first olfactory lobe. Olfactory lobe. Dear students, olfactory lobe is the part of forebrain, but it is not visible. It is only visible in the ventral view. Suppose this is the brain, so when the brain will making this way, just opposite, okay, just below it, okay, so it is olfactory lobe is visible. Okay, look here, as the name is lobe, so it has a bulb-like structure. It will have a bulb-like structure, and it is solid bulb-like structure in this way. This upper bulbous part is called olfactory olfactory bulb, and this below part is called olfactory stalk or tract. Okay, and they together called the olfactory lobe. Okay, it is situated just below, just at the ventral side of the cerebellum. As the name itself enough, olfactory means they have to function is they are meant for the detection of smell, because they are in contact with the receptors in olfactory receptors. Do you know where is the olfactory receptors are situated? It is in our nose. Okay, so the receptors of nose are in contact with the olfactory lobe. From here they send the information to the temporal lobe of the brain that you will study later. Okay, this is the first part of the forebrain, that is the olfactory lobe. It is a bulges and stalk-like structure. Okay, this is situated just below at the ventral side of the cerebrum. It is not visible from outside, and its main function is to detect the smell, because they are in contact with the olfactory receptors which are situated in the nose. Okay, the second part is the cerebrum. One student has requested to make the short video because topics got messed together, so I will try to make it short. Okay, cerebrum. Dear students, it is the largest part of the brain. Largest part. And students, forebrain is not only the largest, it is also the complex most, because it functions many things. This cerebrum, if we see with the help of a diagram in this way, suppose let us assume in this way, if we suppose our brain, okay, though I said that the surface is not smooth, it has the numerous gyri and sulci here, numerous fold in it. It is not smooth. Okay, so these two parts are called cerebral hemisphere. Cerebral hemisphere. Okay. And one of them you can say the cerebrum. Okay, this is the cerebral part, longest part, this one that is visible. Okay, it is separated in two halves by, it is called cerebral fissure. Cerebral fissure, F-I-S-S-U-R. Okay. So this, if we suppose this is the brain, whole brain of front side, then it has two parts, two hemispheres. Okay, this is one of them is the left hemisphere, one is the right hemisphere, and they together called the cerebrum. Okay, so this is whole the cerebrum part. Okay, and it has two cerebral hemisphere, and these two hemisphere are separated by a long separating line that is called the cerebral fissure. Okay, now if we see this structure in the side view, like in this way, if we will see the brain in this way. Okay, it has the numerous gyri and sulci in it. Okay, it is not smooth. Then this brain is attached to the another part by a C-like structure, and this C-like structure is called corpus. Corpus callosum. Okay, you see, just like if suppose this is the part of the cerebrum and they are situated like this. Okay, so if we remove one part of the brain, it will be in this way. Okay, so this structure, this one, see, in this way, if the brain is situated, okay, forebrain, then if we separate one of the hemisphere, they are attached to this structure, and this structure is called the corpus callosum. This outer region of the brain is made up of cerebral cortex. It is cerebral cortex. This cerebral cortex is made up of gray matter. Gray matter. Gray matter because it is made up of cyton of neuron. Cyton of neurons. And dense cyton of neuron are like gray. So it is called the gray matter. This is just opposite to the spinal cord. And this is called the medulla region. Medulla, and it is whitish in appearance. White matter. And this is called white matter because it is made up of axons. Okay, and their dense accumulation, collection, gathering is look like whitish. Okay, so this side view of brain, this has the numerous fold. These the folds in this way, in this way. So this depression is called sulcus. Okay, sulci in plural, sulcus is the singular, and this part is called gyri, means gyrus. Gyrus. Okay, Gyrus singular, and plural it is gyri. Okay, this is meant for to accommodate more number of neurons in smaller area. Okay, so this is brain cortex, cerebral cortex, and this is medulla region. Cerebral cortex is made up of cyton of neurons, and that's why they appear gray, so they are called the gray matter. And the medulla region is appear white because of presence of large number of axons of the cells. Okay, axon of the nerve cells. So this is the part, the structure, how the cerebrum looks like. Now students, this cerebrum part, once again, see the diagram. If it is, I am drawing big. That will make you understand better. So this gyri and sulci are in this way, and somewhere it goes deep in this way. Okay, then again it is in this way, again goes deep in this way, again it continues to in this way, and this is the another structure. Now see, these are the lobes. This part is called frontal lobe. This middle region is called parietal lobe. This is called occipital lobe, and this region is called temporal lobe. Okay, this one of the cerebrum is divided into these parts: 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, this one and this one. Now, why they meant for? What is their function? Okay, dear students, this frontal lobe is the frontal lobe. The first is the site of speech, control the speech. Okay, facial muscular activities, like if someone is angry or happy, how its face will look, and by the appearance of the face you can identify the person is in happy mood or angry. Okay, or it is in pain, that will reflect on our face. That is facial muscular activity, and it is controlled by frontal lobe. Okay, high order thinking skills, high order mental skills like learning, memorizing. Okay, so this is all functions are controlled by the frontal lobe. Okay, this parietal lobe control, what it control? Touch, taste, smell, etc. This type of detection is done by the parietal lobe, like touch, taste, smell, etc. This occipital lobe is sense the vision. Okay, for seeing, means they are associated with the eyes. Okay, and this temporal lobe having auditory in function. Auditory, do you know? Means hearing. Okay, temporal lobe function hearing. Understood? Now again I am repeating. The cerebrum part has the different lobes for the different functions. The frontal lobe is called the frontal lobe, and it associated with the action of speech, facial muscular activities, and high mental order mental skills. Okay, this middle region means parietal lobe is associated to sense the stimulus like the touch, taste, smell, etc. This occipital lobe, yani third region, is associated with the sensing of stimulus of vision, means light, vision, this type of thing. And this temporal region is hearing, associated with hearing. It senses the tempo, auditory receptors are there. They are in contact with the auditory receptors and they sense the sound, voice. Dear students, these all regions have their own network of sensory neurons and motor neurons. Besides this, they also have the association areas. Association areas are meant for the storage of memory, experiences. Okay, whatever experience we have, whatever the memory we have, that will remain in our brain, in our mind, because of the association areas in them. Besides this, they also have the fluid filled cavity, and they are called the ventricles. Okay, this is the cerebral part. Now, I think you will understand if you take the help of book or other resources. You will understand certainly, and if you want to understand them, If you don't want, then it is depend on you. Okay. The third, this is cerebrum. The third is the diencephalon. Diencephalon. Okay. Dear students, this is located at the inferior side of cerebrum, and it is also not visible. It is visible only in the ventral view. Okay. It is visible only in the ventral view. It has also fluid filled cavity, and that is called the third ventricles. Okay. It is called third ventricles. Dear students, the floor of diencephalon is called roof, not floor, roof. Okay, is called epithymus. Thymus. Sides are named thalmi, and floor known as the hypothalamus. This hypothalamus, the floor has the pituitary gland. You know, this is called the master gland also. Okay, but after some years, I think this will not be the master gland, because this is more control over the glands. This hypothalamus region has the pituitary gland. This pituitary gland is connected to the hypothalamus by a stalk, by a infundibulum. Okay, and this hypothalamus secretes the chemicals that control the secretion of anterior lobe of this hypothalamus, control the secretions of anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Okay, so this diencephalon, the roof is called epithalamus, sides is called thalmi, and floor is called hypothalamus. This hypothalamus is the region where the pituitary gland is located, connected with a infundibulum or stalk to the hypothalamus. The secretion of hypothalamus control the secretions of anterior lobe of pituitary gland. This pituitary gland is also called hypophysis. Okay. What is the function? What function the diencephalon performs? The diencephalon performs to sense the thirst, hunger, sleep, temperature, sweatening. These all type of functions are controlled by the diencephalon. Okay, so this is all about the forebrain. Let's revise it once more. Repeat it. Dear students, the forebrain is divided into three parts: olfactory lobe, cerebrum, and diencephalon. The olfactory lobe is located at the ventral side of the brain, and it is not visible until we invert the brain. It is solid mass and in a pair. Okay, its bulbous part is called olfactory bulb, and the stalk part is called the olfactory stalk. And it, as the name is saying, that it is associated with the sense of smell, that is in contact with the olfactory receptors of the nose. Okay, the second part is the cerebrum, and it is the largest part of the brain. Okay, and it is in two halves. The two halves are called the cerebral hemisphere, and these cerebral hemisphere are separated in two parts by a deep fissure line that is called the cerebral fissure, and this two parts are in contact with a structure that is called the corpus callosum. The upper region is made up of the cerebral cortex, that is made up of the cyton part of the neuron and called the gray matter also, and the lower part, middle part, is made up of the whitish matter, that is the axon part of the neuron. Okay, they have the different lobes, and those different lobes perform different functions in the brain. Like frontal lobe is control the speech, high order mental skills, as well as the facial muscular expression. As I said, that if someone is angry, it will be reflected from its face. If someone is happy, it will be reflected from the face, and that expression is controlled by the frontal lobe of the cerebrum. Okay, the middle lobe is the parietal lobe. This parietal lobe is associated with the touch, sense of touch, taste, smell, etc. Okay, the third lobe is the occipital lobe that sense the vision. Okay, and the last lobe, fourth lobe, is the temporal lobe that associated with the sense of sound. Okay, each lobe has its own association areas, and association areas are meant for keep the memory storage or the experience stored in the brain. They have the fluid filled cavities also. Those cavities are called ventricles. Okay. Now the third part is the diencephalon, that is also inferior part, and it is not visible. It is visible only when we see the ventral view of the brain. Okay. It is the floor is called hypothalamus, the roof is called epithalamus, and the side is called the thalmi. The hypothalamus region has the pituitary gland attached with it with a fundibulum or stalk, and the secretion of hypothalamus control the secretion of anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is also known as the name of hypophysis. It is also considered as the master gland. Okay, they attach with the function of sensing the thirst, hunger, sleep, temperature, sweating, etc. This is the function of diencephalon. Diencephalon is also having a fluid filled cavity, and that is called the third ventricle. This is all about the forebrain. Hope you will able to understand, and if you understand, then please, I am requesting again and again, please watch the video. Okay, subscribe also, like also, and if you want, make it comment, share also. Okay, till then, stay home. Now the summer vacation is approaching. Only 1 or 2 or 3 more video I will give you to study. Perhaps this chapter will not be completed. Till then, whatever we will do, you also support us and try to study well to understand the concept. Thank you very much for watching.